Have you noticed that when you start to truly change, the people around you become uncomfortable? Your discipline, your silence, even your simplest choices suddenly turn into criticism or jokes. It's like turning on a light in a dark room. The light itself isn't aggressive. It's the darkness that gets exposed. Your transformation reveals, without saying a word, the fragility of collective mediocrity. And maybe you've felt this already. The moment you begin to take care of yourself, to study, or to break old habits, strange looks and ironic comments appear. Because when someone dares to break the invisible cage of conformity, they inevitably reveal that it was there all along. An unshakable mind is not born to please. It is born to be respected and often to be feared, because it refuses to bow to what is common. That's why so many give up. It's easier to be applauded by the crowd than to walk alone on the road of autonomy. But only those who take this path discover their true strength. Nietzsche once said that the philosopher is a surgeon of the soul, cutting illusions open, exposing the wound, and making space for real healing. That is the spirit of this video. Not to bring easy answers, but to challenge you to look at yourself without masks. Living in the comfort of illusion is simple, but it comes at a cost. The cost of your identity, the cost of your purpose. So here's the invitation. If you've already realized that ready-made answers no longer serve you, then this video is for you. It's for those who have the courage to face the transforming solitude and to raise an unshakable mind. Not to be accepted, but to claim the autonomy that no one can take from you. Nietzsche once said, "You must have chaos within you to give birth to a dancing star." This line speaks to something we've all felt. Pain, rejection, the fall, those days when everything seems to collapse. Chaos does not destroy us. It forces us to be reborn, stronger and more whole. Think of a forest fire. It devours everything, but it also clears the ground so that new seeds can grow. Life works the same way. Crises and losses burn away the excess and the illusions, leaving only what is essential. And it is on this scorched ground that the unshakable mind begins to rise. Maybe you've lived this yourself, losing a job, a relationship, or even your sense of direction. At first, it feels like the end. But with time, you realize it was that very rupture that awakened your inner strength. Chaos is harsh, but it is also a teacher. So the real question is the problem chaos itself, or our resistance to accepting it as part of the path? The greatest enemy of an unshakable mind is not tragedy or great loss, but something far more subtle: the silent pressure to be just like everyone else. Collective mediocrity works like an invisible magnet, pulling you back down every time you try to climb higher. And often, it disguises itself as advice, as a joke, or as that false, "I'm just worried about you." Maybe you felt this yourself. You decide to change your routine, cut a bad habit, or study more. And suddenly, the jokes, the strange looks, the irony begin. Your choice is not an attack on anyone, but it feels like a mirror reflecting what others are too afraid to face in themselves. This pressure is like an invisible cage, with bars made of other people's opinions. You can't see them, but you feel their weight every single day. And if you don't notice, you end up spinning in circles inside it. So the question is, how long will you let the expectations of others set the limits of your freedom? Because the moment you try to break that cage, something inevitable happens. Nietzsche once said, "The individual must always struggle not to be crushed by the tribe." And that's exactly what happens when you choose to live with autonomy. Loneliness appears, not as a choice, but as a consequence. Friends drift away, family criticizes, and suddenly you feel as if no one truly understands what you're going through. That loneliness hurts, but it also purifies. It's like crossing a silent desert. No guides, no applause, no company. Only you, your thoughts, and the weight of your own conscience. In that emptiness, you learn to truly listen to yourself, to separate your inner voice from the echo of the crowd. And it's in this very journey that inner strength begins to take root. Maybe you've lived through this. That phase where you don't fit in at parties, groups, or even within your own home. It feels strange, but it's a sign of growth, because only those who endure transformative solitude discover that it isn't a punishment. It's a trial by fire. And it's within that fire that the courage to create your own values is born. When Nietzsche declared that God is dead, he wasn't celebrating the absence of faith. He was exposing the end of ready-made answers. Suddenly there was no manual for life, no prefabricated meaning to follow. The weight fell on each of us to create with courage our own purpose. And that is frightening, because it means abandoning external crutches and becoming the author of your own story. It's like carrying a forgotten lamp in your pocket. The light has always been there, but only when you decide to switch it on do you realize the power it has to illuminate the path. Creating your own values is exactly that, no longer waiting for permission, approval, or applause. It's living according to what is worthy of you. It's not arrogance, it's autonomy. Maybe you've felt that weight before, trading the safety of a predictable routine for the uncertainty of starting something new. It is scary, yes, but that's precisely where the unshakable mind is born. Because when you embrace the courage to be different, you discover you no longer need to fit into inherited values. You can carve your own. But when that light finally shines, the cost begins to show. Every true choice has a price. An unshakable mind is never born in comfort. It is forged in nights of doubt, in sideways glances, in friendships that drift away because they no longer recognize who you are becoming. Criticism comes from all directions, and sometimes the weight of loneliness feels heavier than 1,000 voices around you. This is the invisible cost, letting go of easy applause in order to claim integrity. But there is another side, the silent reward. Little by little, nothing external can shake you anymore. You begin to notice a steady presence, a rare clarity, an inner freedom that no circumstance can touch. It's as if, after so many battles, you finally discover a territory no one can invade, the one you conquered within yourself. Integrity at this point is like a battle scar. Painful, yes, but unbreakable. It tells the story of what you endured and proves that you survived. And so the question is simple, yet profound. Are you willing to pay that price? Because those who accept it discover that true wealth is not having everything. It's becoming someone who cannot be bent. In the end, true strength is not about shouting the loudest. It's not about winning every debate. Real strength is staying whole when the world tries to bend you. It's standing tall when everything around you insists you should kneel. That is the mark of an unshakable mind. It doesn't need applause to exist because it has already grown roots within itself. And perhaps this is the most uncomfortable truth of all. Your courage to be different will not please others. It will disturb them. It will awaken criticism, doubt, even envy. Yet every step on this path is a reminder that transformative solitude is not a loss. It is the foundation of a freedom no one can take away from you. So here's my direct challenge. Write in the comments one truth you're still afraid to share. It doesn't matter if it seems small or ordinary. That single act may be the first step toward freeing your mind from collective mediocrity. Because transformation begins the moment you dare to speak out loud what you've kept in silence for far too long. If this video made sense to you, don't let this reflection die here. Like, subscribe, and share. Every time this message reaches more people, it strengthens those who choose not to bow to collective mediocrity. This movement only exists because you are part of it. And remember, growth hurts, but staying stagnant costs far more. If you've made it this far, you've already proven you're not like the majority, so don't stop now. Keep walking the path toward an unshakable mind. That's why I leave you with a direct invitation. In the next video, Feeling Lost? Dostoevsky, you'll discover how to turn emptiness into purpose and reconnect with the strength that has always been within you. Click on the final screen. Your journey doesn't end here. It's only beginning.